Are you moving to Palm Beach County, or maybe you already live here and you're looking to buy a home without blowing your monthly budget? Maybe you're a first-time home buyer. Maybe you're relocating from out of state, or simply want to keep your monthly housing expenses under $5,000. If this sounds like you, then this video is exactly what you need. So today I am breaking down how to figure out what price range might be right for you, how to estimate your monthly mortgage payment, and which types of properties may help you keep your total monthly costs under $5,000. Let's jump right in. Hey there, I'm Melissa, a local real estate agent and investor myself in Palm Beach County. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, sell your current property for top dollar, or invest in one of Florida's hottest markets, I am here to guide you every step of the way. Let's dive into today's video and explore how we can make your real estate dreams a reality. First off, let's establish some context. A common rule of thumb, and this is just a rule of thumb, is to keep your total housing costs, monthly mortgage payment, which includes your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA fees, under 28% of your gross monthly income. That's just a guideline. Personal factors like your other debts, credit score, and especially your local property taxes and insurance rates will influence what you can truly afford. In Palm Beach County, property taxes are generally about 2% of the assessed value, and property insurance can really range anywhere from a couple $1,000s to over $10,000 annually, depending on factors like the age of your roof, whether your home has impact windows, and many other things. So for the sake of our example here today, we are going to use a midpoint of $4,500 a year for homeowners insurance. Now, I would advise that depending on what type of property you're buying, you need to get quotes ahead of time so that you can really calculate how much your insurance costs are going to be. Because like I mentioned, it does depend on the age of your roof, your window condition, and other factors that will come up during your property inspection. Okay, so first, let's talk about income. If $5,000 per month is around 28% of your gross monthly income, you are earning about roughly $18,000 a month gross, and this would equate to about $214,000 a year on a salary. Now, this does not need to be a single person in your household's income. This can be a combination of you and your spouse, you and roommate or friend that you decided to buy a property with, or any of the above. So of course, if you have low debt, you might be able to afford more. But if you have other debts, you might need to aim lower on the price range. Debt to income ratio, or DTI. You will probably hear a lender or mortgage company talk about this if you're in the home buying process. What does that really mean? That at a very high level is just a ratio of your total income versus what other debts you have, like a car payment, credit card payments, whatever else there may be. Ideally, your total monthly debt, so credit cards, car loans, student loans, etc., should stay below 36% of your gross monthly income. If you make about $18,000 a month, 36% is roughly $6,400 a month, meaning you have $1,400 left for other debts if you're spending $5,000 a month on housing. Okay, so always remember, if you've never been through the process before, a lender will carefully look at your debt to income ratio when deciding how much to lend to you. So reducing any high interest debts before house hunting can really help you stay under that $5,000 a month cap. Okay, so next we are going to look at the mortgage component. Suppose today's interest rates for a 30-year fixed are around 6.5 to 7%. Now, as I'm recording this video in the end of 2024, that's about accurate. We hope that they're going to go back down in 2025, but we really don't know yet. So here are some ballpark principal and interest payments. I'm also going to calculate this for you. So if you are not familiar, you can really just Google a simple mortgage calculator and you can get your principal and interest payments that way. So I am going to walk you through how I normally do this when I'm looking for a client to calculate their budget. Okay, so if you are gonna shoot for very high level $500,000 loan at 7%, your P&I, which is principal and interest, is about $33.26. Now, this does not include your property taxes, property insurance, or any HOA fees that you may have. A $600,000 loan at 7% is about $39.92 for a monthly P&I. So a $700,000 loan at 7%. So if I'm looking at a $700,000 loan, for the sake of our example here, I'm going to put 0% for a down payment. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that unless we're getting a special loan like a VA loan or some type of physician's loan, which I learned recently. If you are in the medical field and a physician that is not yet in a permanent attending position, like a resident or something, you can also get a loan that is 0% down and a lower interest rate than the marketplace. But anyway, let's go back to the $700,000. So this is just going to calculate based on the loan amount, not the purchase price of the home. So right now we're looking at $46.57 for your principal and interest. Now, again, this does not include your property taxes or homeowner's insurance yet. So $46.57, that brings us almost to the $5,000 mark are talking about in this video for monthly expenses. So if that is your maximum budget per month, then a $700,000 loan is probably a little bit too high for you. So let's keep going through some other examples. Okay, and remember that these numbers do not include taxes, insurance, or HOA fees. So given Palm Beach County's 2% tax rate and potentially higher insurance costs, you'll need to calculate carefully to stay under that $5,000 total. So let's move on to property taxes. Property taxes in Palm Beach County are about 2%. If you're looking on Zillow or whatever and you see a property address and you look at the current year's tax on Palm Beach County tax appraiser website, for example, you may see that these are lower than 2%. But that does not mean that they are going to stay that way. When a property is sold, the county will reassess the value. If that person has been living in that property for some time, it may be assessed at a lower value. So I would never go based on the current year's taxes to estimate your monthly payment. I would always use the reassessed value with that 2% threshold. Okay, so as an example, for a $700,000 property, that's about $14,000 a year, or roughly $1,167 a month, assuming that the assessed value is similar to the purchase price. Now, this is not always the case. This does go based on the county that is assessing the property. This is a substantial chunk of your budget, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. Homeowner's insurance. This can also range depending on the age of your roof, the presence of impact windows, or other risk factors like being in a flood zone. Your insurance can vary greatly. We'll use $4,500 a year as a typical estimate, which is $375 a month. Mortgage insurance, so PMI. If you ever hear this acronym, this is private mortgage insurance. If you put down less than 20%, you most likely will have to pay mortgage insurance, which adds anywhere from 0.5% to 1% of your loan amount annually. This is really to protect the lender because you are putting down a lower percentage and they want to make sure that they are getting paid on that loan. Then there's HOA fees, which a lot of people don't think about. HOA fees, if you buy in a gated community or a condo townhouse complex, you can probably expect about $200 to $500 a month for an HOA. Now, if you're in a community with a lot of amenities or maybe a golf course, they can skyrocket pretty quickly. So you definitely want to check that out when you're looking for properties. If you have a maximum monthly budget, you want to include your HOA fees. Okay, so once you combine your principal, interest, property taxes, and homeowners insurance, you'll see how easily the total monthly cost can exceed $5,000, especially with Palm Beach County's 2% tax rate and potentially higher insurance costs. Okay, so let's check out some rough scenarios based on 7% interest, 2% tax rate, and $4,500 a year for insurance. Now, these are also assuming that you're putting 20% down to avoid PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Okay, so first example here, a mid-priced single-family home, which is listed at $800,000. So in our mortgage calculator, on this example, we are going to use the actual home price and a 20% down payment of $160,000, which makes our loan amount $640,000. If we just update this here, our P&I, monthly P&I, principal and interest, is about $42.58. Property taxes, we are going to input this into our calculation here. So per month, we earn about $1,333. Now, if we calculate for $375 for property insurance, at $300, that's $75 a month. And then we update our payment here. As you can see, this already does blow the $5,000 budget out the window. You need a lower interest rate, a lower purchase price, or a property with a significantly lower assessed value to get under $5,000. So my favorite tip here is the strategy that I have been using for my buyers lately. Ask for a credit towards that interest rate buy down instead of lowering the purchase price. So this has been my go-to because reducing the interest rate by even 0.5% can save you hundreds of dollars a month, whereas asking for $10,000 off the purchase price does not necessarily get that for you. You may save $40 to $50 depending on what the purchase price is and the discount that you're asking for. But asking for a credit towards interest rate buy down is going to significantly reduce your payment. Okay, so now we're going to look at that $700,000 price range. The down payment, if you're putting 20% down, is about $140,000, which does seem like a large chunk of money. And a lot of people it can take a long time to save this amount of money up. There are other options for lower down payment programs like an FHA loan that will allow you to put 3.5% down. And you can also get conventional loans that have those better terms at 5% down, but you are going to pay private mortgage insurance at that lower or less than 20%. Okay, so this $700,000 purchase price, 20% down, $140,000. Our property taxes on this, when the property does get reassessed, is going to be about $1,167. And just estimating our homeowner's insurance at $375 a month brings us to that $5,268 per month. So this does get us closer to that $5,000 range. Still here over $5,000, but if the assessed value is lower, or if you score an interest rate closer to 6.5, you might creep closer to $5,000. But at a full 7% and 2% property tax, it's a little tough to get under that $5,000 range. Okay, so let's look at this $600,000 purchase price. Your down payment at 20% is $120,000. At that reassessed value, your property taxes are going to be about $1,000 a month. Your homeowner's insurance, let's still estimate $375 a month. And then since this one we're looking at a condo or townhouse complex, we're going to go for $300 a month for HOA fees. Now that is on the low side, so just take that into consideration when you're taking a look at this. So this puts our monthly payment under that $5,000 range, which is great. So our principal and interest, $3,193, taxes and insurance, about $1,375. So if you find a single family home or condo with lower HOA fees or a lower assessed value, you could comfortably get under that $5,000 range for your monthly payment even more. Okay, so now let's go over to mortgage rates. Everyone loves this topic lately. So a 0.5 point drop can lower your monthly payment by hundreds of dollars. You want to aim for 20% down to avoid that PMI that saves you a significant monthly expense. On a $600,000 house, this can be over $200 a month. Also keep in mind the property's assessed value might be lower than the purchase price, which would lower your tax bill. You also want to understand insurance factors. A new roof, impact windows, and other windstorm protections can bring your premium down closer to $3,000 rather than $10,000. Another one of my favorite budget-friendly house buying hacks is to consider a duplex or a property with a rental unit, like an ADU or some type of apartment in the backyard. Any extra rental income can help you offset that high tax and insurance burden. The lender will also use that rental income to help you qualify for a higher priced home. And then you have a tenant paying down your mortgage while you also live in the property. So as you can see, keeping your total housing costs under $5,000 in Palm Beach County can be challenging because of the 2% property tax rate and high insurance premiums, often $3,000 to upwards of $10,000 a year. For many buyers, a property in the $600,000 to $700,000 range might be your best bet. But it's essential to factor in the mortgage rate you're going to secure, the home's assessed value for property taxes, realistic insurance costs, which estimate around $4,500 a year, but could be more depending on the age of the home and the condition. So if you are looking to buy a home in Palm Beach County, make sure you get a solid pre-approval from a reputable lender. Factor in those 2% property taxes for Palm Beach County. Plan for insurance costs that could be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 a year, and work with a trusted real estate agent who knows how to navigate Palm Beach County's market and can guide you to properties that meet your budget goals. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more real estate tips. I will also give market updates, home buying advice, and more. If you have any questions or want to share your own experience buying a home in Palm Beach County under $5,000 a month, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, happy house hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.